Okay, this will be a scene starter. You're starting out with a new project and you're going to import assets that were on another computer, and the goal is just to get everything working. Go under File, Set Project, and point to the project folder where all the files are. Click on Set. When you create a new project, you have to remember to go under File, Project Window, click on New, name it, name the project, and put it into a directory. This way, when you move to another computer or send that file to someone else, all they have to do is go File, Set Project, point to that folder, click on Set, and when you go to File Open, Command O or Control O, you'll be directed right into the scene folder. And it's not about just being directed into the scene folder, as you'll see in a moment. It's about wiring paths up together. Here's the project, and you can press the 6 key, but no textures are showing up. If you hit Control A and you follow that material up to here, the material exists. It just thinks it lives in a different directory, or actually does live into a new directory. It was wired that way. That's because when this scene was created, it wasn't created using Project Set Project. To see all the textures, to reestablish those connections, go to Windows, General Editors, and I don't know why it's called a General Editor, File Path Editor. Here's all the unresolved paths. Select them all, or you could do one at a time. I'm going to select them all and hope for the best. Repath Files, click on that button, Browse, and I placed all the images into the Source Images folder. Navigate to that new folder, and going within it to the source images where I placed all the textures. Let's see if Maya will remap everything. Click on Set, search subdirectories for files. You could click Preview to see what's resolved, and this is what you want to see. 21 file paths will be newly resolved, 0 are remaining unresolved. Excellent. And that's all that I was looking for. So now you can see the textures on your model. The next part is to get ready for animating, modeling some more. All the objects were grouped. Just select everything you want to be in that new group, and then go under Edit, Group, and that will create a new group just like this. You can name it. I should give it a better name, such as Scenery. That way you can easily move around this group, and it's very important in the next step, just putting it onto its own layer. Control A to see the channel box. Down here is your display with layers. Click the little plus right here to create a new layer, and double click that word, calling it Scenery. Click on Save. These two don't have to be the same name. With the scenery selected here, right-click on this layer and add selected objects. Now the advantage of that, you can hide and show the selected objects. This way, when you have new objects in your scene, let me create a new layer. And this will be the character layer. Double-click. Maybe there'll be more than one character. And if that's my character and I don't know where it is yet, well, that's okay. I could just hide this scenery layer, press the F key to focus in on my character. So now I can see it here, and I could turn back on the scenery layer, and that scenery is way up there. I'm going to move the scenery. I'm going to move the scenery by selecting this and just pushing it down with the Move tool. Move tool is selected, W key. Select my character, F key. If you do a marquee selection, you might accidentally select the scenery, and that's where the advantage of using the channel box comes in. Take 5, where the layers come in. Besides just hiding them to do a selection, that's boring. Click over here until you see R for reference. Now when you do a marquee selection, only non-referenced objects, such as my character, can be selected. This will make animating a little easier, being able to see the scene. This is just a placeholder character until I get up and going. Let me apply the sky dome light. Move it to the scenery layer. I selected the sky dome light. Right click, add selected object. That way I'm not accidentally selecting the sky dome light. My character will start out over here. Gonna do a quick test render. More work needs to be done. Better texture for the lava field. Probably I'll use a special effect. Also, lighting isn't added to this. Right now, the scene is just being set up for animating. As you go along, you can get into things such as lights and better textures. Next thing to do if you're going to be animating, even though this scene is on a reference layer, it might get in the way of just moving around in the viewport. Maybe not. A good way to animate in a more complex scene is to create some proxy objects, some placeholder objects that will represent the scenery. I'm going to delete my cylinder. It's only there as a placeholder. And my character is going to be walking along this platform until it jumps here. So I just really need this part. If I'm just looking, though, to create a proxy object, such as this, so this way, nothing else will get in the way of animating. And when you're done creating your proxy objects, place them onto their own layer in the channel box under the layer section. Click on plus. I'm going to call this the action layer. Selecting all the objects. Right click and add selected objects. That way they can be turned on and off. And this is the prep work on the scene side, getting the scene ready to be animated with a character, making a clear space so you can focus in on the motion of your character in that scene.